Ya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Waalaikumsalam. Introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Habiburohman with student number 063 and
My name is Muhammad Azizie Hazmi, 064.
And my name is Muhammad Fikri Haikal and my station number is 055.
Today we are going to make a video about debate which is the topic of discussion is climate change. Me as a moderator and Azizie Hazmi as participant A, that is a pro action, and Muhammad Fikri Haikal is participant B as a contra action. And good evening everyone. My name is Muhammad Habiburohman and welcome to tonight's debate on one of the most pressing issues in this world, which is about climate change. Today we have two experts with us to share their views on this complex and urgent topic. On my right, on my right, there are participant B, which is talking about a contra from climate change, and from the left side is Azizie, which talking about the pro action from the climate change. And this debate will consisting of opening statement followed by a few rounds of questions, and we will end with closing remarks. Let's debate. What about from the participant A first? What do you think about the climate change?
Okay, thank you, moderator. Climate change is no longer a distant possibility. It's here and it's in fact already being felt across the globe, from wildfires in California to catastrophic flooding in Pakistan. The evidence is undeniable. The scientific consensus is clear. Human activity, particularly the burning of fossil fuels, is driving global warming at an unpredictable rate. If we don't act now to reduce emissions and transition to renewable energy, the consequences will be catastrophic. Rising sea levels will displace millions. Biodiversity will collapse, and future generations will inherit a planet that is far less hostile. It's not just environmental issue. It's like a moral one. We have responsibility to act in order to protect vulnerable communities, future generation, and all living species. Bold action is required, whether it's through policy changes, investing in clean technologies, or shifting our consumption patterns. And the longer we delay, the more costly the solution will become.
That's a great point from the participant A. How about participant B? Do you have any suggestion?
Okay, thank you, moderator. Well, I agree that climate change is an issue we must address. I believe the current narrative around is overly alarmist and lacks nuance. Yes, the climate is changing, but we need to question the degree of human impact and the effectiveness of the proposed solution. The Earth climate has always been dynamic, with periods of warming and cooling long before human civilization existed. Well, we're witnessing today might be a part of a natural cycle, and while human activity certainly plays a role, it's not the sole driver. Furthermore, the proposed solutions such as drastic emission reduction could lead to economic disruption, job losses, and a severe decrease in living standard. Especially in developing nations, we should be focusing on adapting to the changes rather than rushing into expensive policies that may not yield the desired results. Let's invest in technology and innovations, not punitive regulations.
And that's a great point from participant B. And now let's move to the first question for participant A. You emphasized about the urgency of action to combat climate change. What specific policies do you believe are necessary to address this crisis effectively?
Very good questions. First, and the important, we need to implement a global carbon pricing system, such as a carbon tax or cap or a trade system to incentivize companies to reduce emissions. Second, we must invest heavily in technologies, we must invest heavily in renewable energy sources like solar, wind, hydropower, and etc. This includes, not only scaling up these technologies, but also making them more accessible in developing countries. Third, we need to implement stricter regulation on industries that are the biggest polluters, such as fossil fuel extraction, manufacturing, and transportation. Additionally, the government should provide financial support for research into the new green technologies like carbon capture and storage, and encourage the sustainable agricultural practices. These combined efforts will help us to transit away from the fossil fuels to create a cleaner fuels, more eco-green, like that.
That's a great point from participant A. How about participant B? Do you have any other suggestions or any other?
Yeah, I understand the desire to take action, but the issue with carbon pricing and heavy regulation is that they place a significant burden on businesses, which in turn affect consumers. A carbon tax, for example, could raise the cost of energy, transportation, and everyday goods, hitting the most vulnerable population the hardest. Furthermore, many of the proposed solutions like transitioning to renewable are not as cost-effective as advertised. Renewable energy sources still rely on subsidies and are not always reliable or scalable. Rather than focusing on top-down regulation, we should promote technological advancement in clean energy and allow market force to drive innovation in private companies. Government mandates are the ones that have historically produced the most breakthrough in energy technology. Let's focus on incentivizing the innovation rather than creating government-driven policies that could stifle economic growth.
That's a great point from participant B. And the next question for participant A. What would you say to the concern that drastic regulations could harm economic growth, like especially in developing countries? Any other conclusion for that?
It's true that the transition of the green economy will require investment, and there will be short-term challenges. However, a long-term economic benefits for outweigh the cost. We are already seeing the new industries being created around clean technologies with like wind turbines, manufacturing, electric vehicle, and energy storage, to name a few. Yeah, these sectors provide new job opportunities, and investing in them can help boost economies, particularly in developing nations. Moreover, climate change itself presents significant economic risk. Natural disaster and extreme weather events cost billions annually, and this cost will only increase. As the planet warms. By investing in climate action now, we can mitigate these risks and create a more stable and sustainable future. In fact, the Green New Deal and the similar proposal have shown that well-designed climate policies can boost economic activity and create more million jobs or in worldwide.
That's a good point. How about participants?
I'm not convinced that these green technologies can replace the jobs and economic output of traditional industries, particularly in regions that rely heavily on fossil fuel extraction. For many developing countries, the immediate priority should be economic growth and poverty reduction. If we force this nation to adhere to infrastructure or technology to do so, it could hamper the development and exacerbate inequality. I agree that climate change poses risks, but we need a balanced approach. Adaptation strategies such as building more resilient infrastructure, enhancing water management, and investing in climate-proof agriculture will be more effective and less disruptive. Let's focus on building resilience rather than trying to overhaul entire economies with untested and expensive policies.
Thank you for both of the participants. And before we conclude it, I'd like to hear your closing thoughts. Let's start from the participant A. Yeah. How about your closing thoughts about this climate change, about this topic?
Okay, for the closing, the reality is that we don't have the luxury of time. It's limited. Every year we delay. Every year we, the cost increase, and the window of the prevent catastrophic outcome shrinks. It's also just about reducing emissions. It's about ensuring it's a better future for our children and grandchildren. The longer we wait, the more severe the consequences will be, and the more difficult and costly the solution will become. It is time to act. It is time to act, and solutions are within our reach.
How about the participant? How about your closing thought about these issues about climate change?
Well, I agree that we should be mindful of climate change. We must also recognize the complexity of the issues. Policies that focus on drastic emission reduction without considering the economic and social implications are not the way forward. We need to take a more measured approach, invest in technological innovation, improve infrastructure, and focus on adaptation so that we can better cope with the changes ahead without sacrificing economic stability. Let's not rush into a one-size-fits-all solution that may do more harm than good.
That's good point from both participants right now, and thank you both of your thought-provoking argument. It's clear that climate change remains a highly complex and divisive issue. Like, I hope this debate will provide you to new insight into the challenge and potential solution which is about this topic right now. And thanks for all of you, and that's all from us.
Thank you.
Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.